Hello, my name is Steve Nemish with Nomar Enterprises, and today I'm going to show you how to unpackage the crate for your new Moto Lift. This one shipped with the side extension kit and auxiliary fuel pole kit. It came in on a pickup truck today, which was a little precarious. It does take 4 people to get it out of a pickup truck or off a trailer. We do recommend that you have a forklift, or if you can take this on a loading dock, it's going to be much safer.
So Steve, I'm seeing that we need some tools, and we have this Read First document. Tell me a little bit about the Read First document, and then what tools we're going to need for this job.
Well, the Read First document is going to be on top of your package, and pull that out, read through it. It's going to tell you how to air this thing up, how to get it out of the box the proper way. You're going to save your carton in case there's damage. We don't want to just jump into this and rip it up. You're going to need a T25 driver, Phillips, and a 1/2-inch socket. If you've got an impact, it's going to make it a lot faster. A utility knife to cut the plastic, and have your air source ready. These things operate between 120 and 165 psi, so be sure that you've got adequate air. You don't want to use a regulator on your out air because it's going to restrict the flow. You want to have good flow going into this. The high volume air spring, if you put a regulator right at your hose, it's going to go much slower than you really want. You'll get the pressure, but you won't get the volume. So be sure you got that ready, because you can't even get this off the pallet without air. It's just not going to work. These are drywall screws, by the way. They're pretty low tech, but everyone's got a Phillips driver. We're gonna lift this top off, set it to the side.
Oh, nice.
And we have a frame on top we can lift off. Set that aside. So now what you've got is the lift with the ramp, and the lift's gonna come with a pair of straps and the D-ring connectors, which set the design of this lift apart. It's going to give you the ability to have strap points anywhere along the sides.
So you mentioned the strap points. What benefit does that have?
Well, the strap point, when you mount the vehicle on the lift, you can roll it in a wheel vise if that's the model that you choose to have. Obviously, if you're getting a side extension kit for 4-wheelers and ATVs, you may not be strapping that vehicle.
Right.
But on a motorcycle, when you're using the wheel vise, and you're going to say lift the front or lift the rear, with a scissor jack, you got to stabilize that vehicle.
Right.
And a short vehicle, a long vehicle, front, back, it's going to require different angles of straps going different directions. And the Moto Lift is extra wide in itself. It's 28 inches wide. So let's say you have a big BMW GS, wide handlebars. You're not strapping it in a way that you're losing leverage. So the wider the strap points are, the more leverage you're going to have controlling that vehicle on the lift. Again, we're going to save our packaging just in case we find something that was damaged by the shipper that would require reshipment. So this is a drop plate. The drop plate is a plate that you can pull to, if you're working on a rear motorcycle wheel. So you've got a bagger, big fender, loosen pull your axle, your wheel can drop out the bottom. And it's extra wide on the Moto Lift, so you can get a big fat tire to drop down. But we're gonna move this plate out of the way until we're ready to go. Here's where we need to hook this up to air. So we gotta hook this up to air to raise it up to actually get to the bolts to unpallet the back half of this. The fittings that come on these are ready to go. This is a machine size fitting. Automotive fittings are a couple thousandths difference in size. They may look the same, but it just kind of depends on what your shop is using. So that hooks up perfectly.
All right, so we got the air hooked up now. We're all cleaned up, we're ready to go. What's the next step?
We're gonna charge the system up a little bit, raise this up. And then that's gonna give us access to these hold down bolts that we're on the skid.
Well, that was quick. That really raised up pretty quick.
Yeah, it is quick without a load on it. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna hook up a strap and one of these D-ring connectors to the slot that's over the axle. So that's the wheel axle. Because this is kind of springy.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of springy without a load on it, even though it's going to its stop. So we're gonna lower this to the stop, which is automatic. So there's an up and a down. So we're gonna let the air off of it. Now it's sufficiently sitting on its stop. And each of these, like I said earlier, comes with a set of D-ring connectors. And these hook right into the slots. And you can move these wherever you need them quickly. And that's gonna hold your tie-down straps. And then the lift also came with a set of the special Moto Lift straps with the carabiner hook. The nice thing about the carabiner hook is when you let these off, they're not going to come disconnected, because the carabiner is not going to come off the D-ring unless you spring it by yourself. So what we're going to do here is get some slack to the hook, come around the axle, hook back onto the D-ring, pull out our slack. And that's going to prevent this from lifting up, because we have to get this off the skid safely. So now it's not going to raise up. So having two people for this next step is probably advisable. We're going to roll the lift off the pallet this way, and then when we get near the end, we're going to get the pallet out from underneath it. So lift it up. Make sure we track on that 2x4 really well. We don't want it dropping off. Stop right about there. Well, there we go.
Okay. Easy peasy.
And now we can roll this into place. If you're big like me, you can probably roll it. We're going to want to route the hose for the lift to the orientation that we're going to probably be hooking this up and using it. So if we're going to be using it out here on the floor, we're going to pass this underneath the scissor arm. And then I would recommend adding a zip tie to keep that pointed in the correct direction. So we're going to zip tie the hose to the direction that we're going to have this operating. We want to make sure that it's not coming out the center. These plates here are going to get nearly to the floor. There's still space. It would squeeze the hose. It wouldn't break the hose, but we don't want to create any restrictions for it. We'll just stick a zip tie right here, and you can trim your ends off. But that's a good spot for that. And now that that's done, we're going to release our strap from our axle, because we no longer need that. So the foot pedal, it's a pneumatic foot pedal, has 3 positions. It's got an up, a down, and a neutral center. So this is going to raise it up, it's going to lower it, and in the center, the air is not going to release itself unless you manually squeeze that. And this is for safety, because we don't want this thing creeping down in the event that the locking mechanism was up and someone left a tire leaning against the lift and everyone went home and disaster. So we're going to raise this up and we're going to lock out the mechanism. It's going to allow this to go all the way to the floor. When it gets near the floor, the mechanism is going to reset itself to cycle again. It's a safety lock. And with the weight, with a motorcycle on there, it's going to go down a little bit faster. So now that we're all the way down, you can see we're only 8 inches off the floor. which is a nice height for getting a motorcycle on. It's not 10 inches. And this does go up fairly fast without a load on it. And here we'll set it down to the stop position, and the top stop position is 41.5 inches off the floor. So the next thing we're going to do is connect our wheel vise accessory. The holes are pre-laser cut through the deck for 2 positions of width, but the standard position will clamp any small front to a 200 rear tire. So you can back in your motorcycle with the sport bike, clamp that in, lift the front up with a handstand if you want.
Everything you need comes with it, right? You have all your mounting hardware, you have all your bits and parts, and everything's laser cut ready to go, right?
It is. We make these wheel vises in our factory. They're an improvement over other things you're going to see on the market. We use the thrust bearings on the inside and out on the drive shaft here. It's heavy steel construction. What we've done is we've raised the squeeze point, which we'll show you once this is together. So you're going to get a better stability of the vehicle when it's clamped down. It's not going to want to rock as much. And other brands have had some failures, and so we tried to fix that problem. The hardware you get, they're all these little carriage bolts with square shoulders. They give you square holes. So all it's going to take is one socket on the bottom to put this stuff together. And what I'm going to recommend on this is to pre-install the holes on the back side. They're a little tight getting in, but they fit. It's just easier this way. So slide those in first. The square shoulders will snap into the metal. You don't need to hold them. And we'll get some nuts on there started just by hand. Come back later and run them all in with an impact. The next thing I'm going to show you is the assembly of our auxiliary fuel pole accessory. This is kind of cool because you can move the bracket onto any of these E-track slots, leave the bracket, and just slide the pole in whenever you need it. So if you do have a fleet of lifts, you're not going to be using fuel poles that much. You may end up having a bracket on every lift, and then the guy needs a pole. He just grabs it, sticks it in, and tightens with a knob. Super easy. We found that the nut facing out tends to be the easiest way to do this. So there's a pad on the inside. You can see it's padded, so it's not going to scar up your lift. And then inside has a pad as well. You want to make sure that's square before you tighten it up. And that's it. It doesn't have to be super, super tight. And we're also giving you a set screw along with a knob. So in the event you want to leave that on there and you don't want the knob sticking out, it's your option. You want to make sure that screw isn't sticking out, which it shouldn't be. The knob will insert right into that thread. It's been pre-chased for you. We're going to drop this low for right now for the demonstration, but you're not going to want this hanging down when you're using it, because if you lower the lift, you can have interference with that. So here's our hook device. It also has a knob. It has a set screw as well. Maybe you're never going to take this off and you just use the set screw. It's up to you. So this has a double hook. So with the fuel injected bikes, you're going to want to have a pressurized cylinder, and then with the carbureted stuff, you can just have a gravity reservoir, and this can hang there. And when you're ready to use it, you're all good to go. And you can move this wherever you want on the lift. But it's super handy, and it doesn't cost that much. So highly recommended for a shop, because you're going to use a fuel pole.
So this is an optional item that you can buy with the kit?
Yeah, the kit is an accessory, and then we have the saddle clamp as another accessory if you want to just buy the extra saddle clamps to put on all your lifts.
Okay. All right. So it looks like we have the main body for the motorcycle lift done. For power sports, though, you have an add-on kit, right?
Yeah, if you're going to work on four-wheelers or trikes or reverse trikes, one, you're probably not going to be using the wheel vise assembly. You may be just ordering this unit with the side extension kit and then the main lift. And the main lift is 28 inches wide, and our side extensions add 10 inches onto each side. So you're going to be at a 48 by 84, which is 4 foot by 7 foot table. So what that's going to do to your weight capacity, so the weight rated capacity on these is 1,200 pounds, including the side extension kit. So if you weren't using the side extension kit, the weight capacity of the ML12 is actually 1,350 pounds. So it's designed to carry a lot of weight. And we've tested these things, and we actually give you the testing data in any sales flyer. So most companies won't do that. So we'll show you what PSI you're going to need to achieve a certain lift, and also realize that this does require a high amount of airflow and pressure. So we're talking volume and pressure. You could pump them up with a little compressor, as long as it was a 150 PSI compressor. Okay. And you might be waiting for that little tank to reload. So we do recommend having a good size reservoir tank in your system. The kit comes with 2 of these rods. It's actually scheduled 40 pipe. They slide through. They're a fairly tight fit. So if you do get it, realize it's pretty snug. It's supposed to be snug. We don't want any jiggle in that. And then the side extensions are going to slide on, and there's not going to be any outer pins. You see there's no holes in here. Other brands will put a hole with a pin. We don't really like the idea of having anything sticking out. The mechanic is going to catch their belly and shirt. So we have set screws on the inside, and that's going to keep the whole outside flush and clean. So here we're gonna go ahead and grab one of these extensions. All right. And now there is a front and back. Okay. There's a slot here. That's for the ramp. That's going to align with the end down there with the drop plate, so all the slots are lined up. Okay. This is a lot easier with 2 people. Just align your hole and then bring them in slowly at the same time, and you're going to have a collar to catch. Just push that in like that, and you're going to want to get your pipe adjusted. They're not going to stick out. It'll be in just about a 1/4 inch, and we can slide it on the other side. We won't tighten the screws until we have both sides on. Okay. And it's pretty straightforward on how this goes together. It's pretty typical of the design of most lifts. We just try to make it a little cleaner.
Yeah, that's super.
All right, and then you can grab an Allen wrench, and there's some set screws underneath in these collars. Go ahead and tighten a couple set screws on each side, and it's gonna do you well. And we've also transferred the same E-track slot pattern to the outside of that. So you're going to be able to use your fuel reservoir pole as well as the E-track lock system on the outside if you need to stabilize the vehicle. And you want to put your big bagger on here with your side extensions. Maybe you're going to do a motor rebuild or pulling something, you need some more space. Those will give you that extra space for your tools and stuff. But they'll also let you drive your bike up onto the lift and have a place for your feet. So some guys like this just to have that space. Well, that finishes up the installation of the new ML12 at the MPN garage today. So we've got it all set up with all of its accessories. It's ready to go. Start making you money. So if you've got any questions, check out our website at nomartirechanger.com. You'll see some videos, product page, accessory page, and you can call us and talk to a real person. 636-326-5999. Have a great day.